Before departure, my fiancé, Captain Luke Lucas, boarded with a suitcase, claiming it contained gifts from his first love, Nina. He said I wasn't allowed to touch it. Suspicious. I secretly inspected it and discovered high-risk contraband. After reporting it, I used my commendations to cover Luke's violation, saving his career while Nina got arrested and convicted. He never spoke about it, but later sabotaged my parachute during an emergency. Emily, you're just jealous of Nina. You rigged her flight attendant exam then framed her. He snarled. You think this would make me love you? Dream on. I'll never marry a petty woman like you. I plummeted 10,000 meters to my death. Now reborn, I watch Nina present that familiar suitcase during pre-flight. I step back. This time, I won't save you. Captain. Protocol requires security screening for that case. My crew member reminded. Luke frowned. These are Nina's gifts. Log it under my authority. Nina simpered. I know regulations. I've had training. The crew stifled laughter as someone muttered. 3 failed exams until Emily arranged your retake. Still flunked. Nina's face fell. Luke glared at me. You rigged her tests. I should have appealed. How dare your crew disrespect her? His boot slammed the boarding stairs. Blocking me? Fine. I'm grounding this flight. Memories flooded back, last life's compromise. The contraband discovery. My career sacrificed to protect him. All repaid with severed parachute cords. Pathetic. I lowered my eyes demurely. The captain knows best. Clear his case. Seizing advantage, Nina begged. Let me join this flight. It's been a year. Luke nodded. Let Nina observe. Against regulations. I stated calmly. Luke's face darkened. Defying me? You're all grounded. The crew paled as dispatch announced passenger boarding. Your choice. He sneered. Cross me and you'll never crew my flights again. Swallowing bitterness, I acquiesced while signaling my deputy. This time. Luke. You'll face consequences. As we boarded, Nina resumed her antics. Unaware of the security alert my team had discreetly filed. Let's see your precious first love explain those explosives to TSA. Captain. Ever since training ended, I haven't worn the flight attendant uniform again. She clung to Luke's arm. Her smile dazzling. I just wanted to try it on today for fun. Looks like I'll be Luke's personal attendant today, I frowned. We don't have spare uniforms. Nina pouted triumphantly. You think I don't know the drill? Trainees always keep backups. My tone turned icy. Reserve uniforms are for certified crew, not roleplay fantasies. Luke's brow furrowed as he intervened gently. Come on. Nina's practically family. Let her borrow it for a bit. I bit back rising anger. Fine. But wearing the uniform means working. She'll handle the meal cart. Nina instantly giggled in that cloying pitch. No way. I'm not some servant pushing greasy trays. That's your job. Flight attendant. The crew exchanged furious glances. Someone started to retort, but I silenced them with a raised palm. My composure held steady even as fury simmered beneath. Keep digging your grave. We'll see who's laughing after landing. Luke, leveraging his captain's authority, escorted Nina to first class. Why play attendant? First class passengers have it best. Enjoy the experience. Minutes later, a service light blinked. The returning crew member looked queasy. Emily, they're demanding you personally. My stomach dropped. There Nina sat, draped in a blanket with vindictive sweetness. Now I'm the passenger and you're the help. Time to serve properly. Yes? I kept my voice level. How may I assist you? Ma'am? She smirked, picking at her blanket. Different colored blanket. Softer pillow. The new amenity kit, not this old stock. And bring 3 drink options for tasting. I complied mechanically, sensing the crew's rage thickening the cabin air. She's deliberately provoking us. Someone hissed. I shook my head. Remember our training. When I returned with her wine, Nina tilted her head mockingly. They say first-class attendants kneel to serve. True? A crew member swore under their breath. Nina's voice turned saccharine. Such rudeness. I'll have to file complaints. Too many complaints and you'll be grounded. Right? My knees hit the carpet as I presented the glass. Smile intact. We aim to satisfy every request. Ma'am. Her laugh rang shrill. You failed me in training. Said I lacked professionalism. Look who's groveling now. Leaning close. She hissed. This is where trash like you belongs. Her hand slipped. The red wine cascaded over my head, soaking through my updo and uniform. I fled to the lavatory. Her cackles drilling into my skull. Emerging damp-haired. I found Nina gone. The crew avoided my eyes. What happened? The co-pilot shuffled awkwardly from the cockpit. Captain Lucas asked me to take over. Nina's with him. A junior attendant muttered. Emily. How can you tolerate this? You're running the entire flight while I stared at the locked cockpit door. Wine drying cold on my collar. I dug my nails into my palms. My voice low and urgent. Don't let this distract us from our duties. After steadying my breath, I directed the crew to their stations. We were only halfway through the flight. Professionalism couldn't falter. When meal service began, I wheeled the cart toward the cockpit. The doors swung open to reveal Nina draped in the captain's jacket, posing theatrically in the co-pilot's seat. She waved airily at me. Don't worry, Emily. I'll have the first officer back soon. Just getting some fun shots. Luke leaned against the console, his gaze icy. Stop playing hall monitor. Running to management again? If you actually want this marriage to work, quit the petty games. He stepped closer, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Behave yourself and I'll keep you comfortable. But if you harass Nina again. The meal tray trembled in my hands. Every fiber wanted to smash it across his smug face and scream the weddings off. But 147 passengers depended on my restraint. Understood. I ground out. Good girl. His knuckles brushed my cheek mockingly. Now make yourself useful. Guard the door. I stood sentry as muffled laughter seeped through the reinforced bulkhead. Memories flooded me, flight school days when Luke's eyes would crinkle above his navigation charts, stealing glances as I calculated fuel ratios. Now those same eyes only saw corporate alliances and social climbing. The man I loved had become a stranger wearing his face. The cockpit door finally clicked open. Nina emerged flushed and disheveled, reeking of expensive perfume and poor decisions. Bathroom break. She simpered, swaying past me with triumph glittering in her eyes. Inside, Luke adjusted his uniform with practiced ease, satisfaction oozing from every pore. During final approach, I mechanically guided passengers through disembarkation. Nina strutted toward the jetway, designer handbag swinging. My arm barred her path. Step aside. Flight attendant. She sneered, loud enough for nearby travelers to hear. Your little power trip ends here. Luke materialized through the crowd, fury crackling around him. I warned you, Emily. Enough games. His hand shot out to grab Nina's wrist. I intercepted them. The slap came fast, a stinging crack that left my ear ringing. You'll never work in aviation again, he hissed, spit flecking my burning cheek. The metallic clack of dress shoes interrupted his tirade. 3 federal agents shouldered through gawking passengers, badges glinting. Nina Peters. The lead investigator boomed. You're under investigation for contraband possession. Luke shifted into full protector mode. There's been a mistake. We have connections at the FAA. The agents efficiently restrained him mid-bluster. Nina's porcelain complexion turned ashen as handcuffs snapped around her wrists. Luke. She wailed, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. I straightened my collar. The taste of justice bittersweet on my tongue. Some crashes happen in slow-motion relationships. Careers. Carefully constructed lies. And sometimes, you get to watch the fire from a safe distance. Luke's face abruptly paled, his eyes widening. What are you doing? I'm the captain. Exactly. You're our target. The lead investigator snapped coldly. Luke. You're suspected of smuggling contraband, abandoning your cockpit duties, and endangering flight safety. You must submit to immediate investigation. Impossible. This is a setup. Luke roared, thrashing violently. I'm the chief pilot. I have full credentials. You can't treat me like. The aviation inspector's voice turned glacial. As flight leader, you should know every unauthorized absence and protocol violation leaves digital traces. We've cross-referenced cabin crew testimonies with your cargo compartment access logs. He gestured sharply. Take him. Beside them. Nina panicked, screaming as she lunged toward Luke. I didn't know anything. I'm Luke's girlfriend. He made me carry that suitcase. I never opened it. The inspector arched an eyebrow. We don't care about your relationship status. Ownership verification comes later. Take them both. Passengers erupted into chaos as the struggling pair was escorted through sealed security corridors. Phones shot vertical videos while outraged whispers spread. That guy's really a captain? I heard these hotshot pilots party hard. But endangering flights? Smuggling? Abandoning controls? He gambled with hundreds of lives. How'd the airline hide this? They better make this public. In the rear galley, flight attendants exchanged nervous glances. So that suitcase was rigged all along, no wonder Luke forbade us from touching it. Will we get implicated too? The first officer stepped forward decisively. Enough speculation. Follow Emily's directives. I stood motionless, brushing clotted wine stains from my hair. My gaze swept the turbulent aisle before projecting calm authority. All teams resume stations. Prepare for post-flight inventory. The cabin stilled instantly under my command. Crew members nodded, repositioning with military precision. As the aircraft finally taxied to safety, I whispered to myself, Luke, Nina, our final reckoning has come. In the makeshift detention room, Luke maintained defiance. This is slander. I demand evidence. Nina trembled theatrically. I'm innocent, truly. The investigator flipped through documents. We've verified whistleblower claims against flight logs and security footage. You may confront your accuser. The door swung open. Both froze as I entered. Luke erupted, veins bulging. I knew it. Emily. You've always resented Nina. Now you frame me because I refused your demands? Have you no shame? I smiled faintly. Truth needs no framing. Weren't you the evidence evangelist? Fine. He sneered. When this backfires, our engagement ends. Mark my words. Before his tirade finished, I slammed dissolution papers on the table. No need to wait. Sign now. My voice held Arctic calm. This terminates our betrothal. We're quits. Luke gaped at the documents, disbelief morphing into spluttering rage. What did you say? I met his glare steadily. Your threats never scared me into submission. Unlike you, I actually valued what we had. But starting today, I suppressed my smile. You don't even have the right to threaten me anymore. Luke's face flushed then paled. As he opened his mouth, Nina grabbed his arm and burst into theatrical sobs. Emily, her eyes reddened with practiced vulnerability. Please don't fight with Luke because of me. We're just childhood friends who grew up close. You're misunderstanding. This was my fault. What happened on the plane was accidental, she sniffled. If you need to vent, take it out on me. Don't punish Luke. I sneered. But before I could speak, Luke's expression darkened. She's already apologizing like this and you still want to push? You're truly vicious. Fine. I'll sign. He snatched the documents, teeth grinding. I've wanted to dump you anyway. Spending my life with a petty, jealous woman like you would be madness. His pen scratched across the paper. I glanced at the slanted signature, finally allowing a genuine smile. The investigator scanned them dispassionately. We've retrieved the luggage footage. Now we'll proceed with physical inspection. Their stiff expressions faltered momentarily. Luke scoffed. Search all you want. Let's see how she frames me. Nina mumbled. I packed that suitcase myself, there's nothing. I remained silent. Watching. The real show hadn't begun yet. The suitcase revealed lace stockings, lingerie, scented candles, and a silk scarf monogrammed LC. I raised an eyebrow. These are your gifts for him? Nina flushed crimson. Luke works so hard, I just wanted to surprise. How fortunate. I remarked icily, crossing my arms. Several crew members stifled giggles. Regulation-compliant gifts indeed. The inspector ordered. Catalog these for evidence. When no other contraband appeared initially, Luke regained his arrogance. I told you it's a misunderstanding. You'll all pay for this humiliation. Nina chimed in. His family has connections. You'll all be grounded. Luke glared at me. I'll have your entire crew reassigned to baggage handling. Enjoy never flying again. A flight attendant trembled. You can't do this. Why the hurry? I interrupted calmly. Approaching the suitcase, I plucked a nearly transparent lace bra from the pile, its lining suspiciously layered. Test this. Luke leaned back mockingly. Jealous? Nina's got better taste and curves. Maybe I'll gift you one too if you beg. But Nina had turned ashen. Lab results confirmed it. The padding contained high-grade hallucinogenic powder absorbing through skin contact. Class 1 aviation contraband. Not mine. Luke lunged at the inspector. Veins bulging. SHE planted it. Her idea. Nina crouched weeping in the corner. He told me to prepare the surprise. Made me swear to secrecy. The two of them went back and forth, tearing off each other's pretenses like rabid dogs locked in a fight. I stood silently watching until they'd thoroughly humiliated themselves in their frenzy. Only then did I speak softly. So this is what your precious relationship amounts to. Luke was immediately grounded. Both men became criminal suspects for drug possession and smuggling contraband. But the drama was far from over. Soon, the Lucas family bypassed official channels to pressure the airline. Their lawyer approached me with polished hypocrisy. You only reported this in the heat of the moment, right? If you get the other crew members to stay quiet and confirm Nina brought that case herself, the Lucases would be very grateful. You wouldn't want to see Luke framed after all your years together. Would you? I gave him a cool look. Are you coaching me to commit perjury? Is this your professional standard? The lawyer's smile froze. Aren't you being overly emotional? Wrong. I'm being factual. Not personal. I stood, smoothing my uniform. You're the one insulting my integrity. After his departure, the airline received pressure calls. Damage control meetings erupted. I was summoned to executives who presented two options: protective transfer to ground operations, effectively sidelining me, or reassignment to remote regional routes, career purgatory. No more premium flights or promotions. May I make a statement? I asked. When they nodded, I flipped my phone screen toward them. Trending topic: Flight attendant exposes captain's contraband, full video evidence. The viral passenger footage showed crystal clear audio and visuals of the entire interception. Comments flooded in. That badass crew chief just gained a fan. Will mass complain if they punish her? Imagine if she hadn't spoken up. Looking at the silent executives, I asked mildly, shall I clarify events publicly? I could phrase it considerately for the company's image. After prolonged silence came reluctant concession: we'll reevaluate carefully. 3 days later, conspiracy theories emerged online. How did she know about the case beforehand? Was this a setup? Instead of responding immediately, I requested an official briefing. Standing before airline representatives in full uniform, I played cockpit audio from pre-flight checks. Luke's voice snarled. That's Nina's gift case under my manifest. Hands off. A crew member protested. But special packages require. I said it's clean. You want to delay departure? My presentation continued calmly. Pre-flight. We had reasonable suspicion but lacked concrete evidence. As lead attendant, I balanced safety protocols against operational stability. With passengers boarding and the captain agitated, forcibly seizing the case risked flight delays and onboard panic. My team implemented airborne containment, constant surveillance ensuring no mid-flight access. Post-landing procedures followed standard protocols with airport authorities. The airline spokesperson confirmed this account before playing official investigation footage. Following the investigation, the luggage in question was confirmed to belong to Nina Peters, containing personal items. Nina confessed that the suitcase's contents reflected her private intentions to manipulate Luke into dissolving his engagement and pursuing a relationship with her through gifts. Hidden within the lingerie lining was a highly addictive concentrated powder, a Category 1 aviation contraband. The official report concluded succinctly, Nina received a 23-year, 8-month prison sentence for trafficking prohibited substances, smuggling aviation contraband, and disrupting flight operations. Luke, though not directly involved in transporting illegal materials, faced revocation of his pilot license and a lifetime flight ban due to abandoning his post mid-flight, unauthorized cockpit access for non-crew personnel, and interference with safety inspections per aviation regulations. The entire cabin crew was exonerated and commended, particularly Emily for her adherence to protocols and strategic crisis management, earning her designation as a priority promotion candidate. Silence blanketed the room as I surveyed the crowd. I didn't know in advance. I stated evenly. I had to know. That was my responsibility as chief flight attendant. The next morning, footsteps echoed outside my office as I emerged from simulator training. Emily, a junior attendant, gestured nervously toward the glass partition. Luke stood beyond it, gaunt, tense, yet maintaining his characteristic military posture. Those eyes still carried their old imperious certainty. He barged in uninvited. Emily, he began hoarsely. I came to apologize. I remained silent. Resent me all you want, I resent myself more. His voice dipped into that familiar coaxing tone. Nina might have used substances to manipulate us both. I never meant. Leave. My voice held arctic calm. I have duties. Undeterred, he pressed closer. Take time to reconsider. My family can transfer you to premium international routes with triple. A frosty smile cut him off. I earned my promotion to international lead stewardess without favors. Slipping into my uniform blazer, I strode toward the exit. Goodbye, Luke. 2 days later, our aircraft taxied onto the homebound runway. As my team disembarked, a gasp broke the post-flight routine. Emily, isn't that? My first officer corrected herself. Luke? Beyond the security cordon he stood rigidly, pale, clutching lilies. Memories cascaded, midnight ginger teas brewed during his cargo hauling years, drafting incident reports to salvage his career during that near-fatal engine failure. Countless arrivals watching other crews reunite with loved ones while my phone stayed dark. Now here he waited at the terminal with flowers. Exactly where I'd stopped needing him. Later came the messages, emails, voicemails, handwritten letters. Identical refrains, I was wrong. She deceived me. You were always, I deleted them unread. Some roots are meant to stay buried. Do you remember our first night flight? You secretly sketched the flight route for me at the rear cabin, promising that someday you'd fly around the world with me. I read your messages, but gradually stopped feeling compelled to respond. Eventually, I stopped even opening them, my thumb brushing past the subject lines before tapping delete. Then the messages stopped altogether. I turned 30 that year, when my transcontinental flight landed in Paris. I received the promotion notice to chief flight attendant. After 3 years managing international routes, coordinating complex in-flight operations, and handling medical emergencies at 35,000 feet. I stood on my hotel balcony that night watching distant city lights, exhaling deeply. I knew I wanted to step back, not abandon flying, but create space for the next generation of wide-eyed crew members. Transferring to the airline's training department, I stood before new recruits lecturing on flight safety and mental resilience. Never hesitate to reject unreasonable demands. Never let personal connections override protocol. Every compromise with regulations could ultimately cost lives. A raised hand interrupted me. Emily. Have you seen the news? The classroom buzzed as everyone checked their phones. Breaking news flashed. Stowaway falls from landing gear mid-flight. Confirmed dead. Witnesses reported erratic behavior at terminal earlier. Grainy footage showed flashing police lights illuminating a tarmac. Black cloth covering all but an outstretched arm. My breath caught. There, on the ring finger of that lifeless hand, gleamed the platinum engagement band I'd saved a year's salary to commission at 24. Back when I believed our love could soar beyond horizons. Murmurs rippled through the room. Who'd be crazy enough to hide there? These addicts have no survival instinct. I let the comments wash over me, steadying my breathing like I'd taught countless trainees. No shock. No epiphany, just the quiet certainty of snow melting after long winter. Our story had finally completed its descent. The storm clouds dissipated, leaving only clear, empty skies ahead.